our first virtual messy church. Let's get messy. But before we do, I invite you all to join me in one of my favorite parts of messy church, and that is to sing together. We're going to begin by singing together, Peace Like a River. And in case you don't know the actions, they go like this. It's peace like a river, and then it's going to be joy like a fountain, make a funny fountain, and then love like the ocean. Let us sing together, shall we?
I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul.
Today, I want to talk about journeys that we have taken. A journey could be a trip to the local zoo to check out the lions and the tigers and the bears. Oh my. Or maybe it was a trip in the car with your family someplace, up to a cottage, to a different town to visit relatives. Maybe you took a trip from the country to the city or the city to the country. We take all sorts of trips in our lives. Some of them are long trips and some of them are short. Some of them take a long time to get there, and other ones they can happen within a very short period of time. And sometimes they can get us onto pathways that are difficult and dangerous, and they make us struggle. And this is sometimes makes it feel like it's almost impossible for us to complete our journey. And so I wanted to begin by playing a little game with you. This is called It Sure Seems Impossible to Me. So I'm going to start out with a book, and you guys can try this later on in your own homes and see if you can do it. How many of you can balance a book on your head? Ready? And then you're going to walk too. So I'm going to back up here and see if I can walk towards the camera. Here I go. Oh, not bad. Oh, okay, I almost made it all the way to the camera. It sort of seemed impossible to me. That one wasn't so hard. Okay, how about this one? You're going to take a spoon and you're going to balance it on your nose. And if you're really good, you're going to walk with it. I'm going to just try to balance it first. I'm not even sure I can do that much. Okay, let me see. No. And let me try again. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. No. One last time. It sure seems impossible to me. How many of you can curl your tongue like a hot dog? Definitely not. No, that one's definitely impossible to me. I wonder how many of you can do that back at home. Okay, my last one for you, and I think this is probably the trickiest for me. How many of you can juggle one ball? Okay. I think I'm pretty good. I never played a whole lot of baseball in school, but I think I can manage with that. How about 2 balls? Or 3 balls? Or 4 balls. How many of you have seen jugglers at the circus or somewhere else and you've seen them throwing these balls in the air? Well, I know I'm never going to be able to do 4. I don't think I'm even going to be able to do 3. Let me see if I can do 2. Here we go. It certainly seems impossible to me. I wonder how many balls you can juggle in the air. Lots of things can seem impossible. There are many things that might seem impossible to us to do. What might be simple for one of our friends to do might not be so easy for somebody else. Like, I'm not so good at throwing a ball too far, but I bet there's lots of you who are very good at it with playing soccer or playing baseball and being able to hit the ball with a bat. I'm pretty good at some things, but those things are almost impossible to me. Well, this morning I want to talk to you about some people from the Bible. They were called the Israelites, and they are a group of people that lived in an impossible situation. They were stuck living in a place where someone bossed them around. This was a person called Pharaoh, and he bossed them around from morning to night, making them do hard jobs. And they wanted to find a way out. They were looking for a new journey in their lives. And so they went in search of God to give them some help. They needed a sign. Sort of like these signs. Let me show them to you. The last sign we saw was an exit sign, and today I want to talk to you about another exit that took place from the story we were talking about the Israelites in the Bible. People who were angry and upset because of the hard work that they were having to do day and night. They lived in a land called Egypt, and Egypt is a country way across the North Atlantic Ocean. If we were to fly there in a plane, it would take us all night and all day right up to bedtime again, which would mean you would be sleeping on the plane, you'd wake up, you'd have your whole day on the plane, and just before you went to bed the next night, you would finally get to Egypt if you were leaving from our country here in Toronto, Canada. And there was this man, as I mentioned, named Pharaoh, and he was in charge of the people in Egypt. He made the people work really, really, really hard. He had the people mix mud and straw to make bricks in the burning hot sun, brick after brick after brick, and they didn't even get paid. So the people cried out to God to help them leave this place, to find a way, an exit. So a man named Moses came along on God's behalf and tried to talk to Pharaoh. But Pharaoh didn't want any part of this. He didn't want to lose these people. They did all the hard jobs for him so that life would be easier for him. So God sent all sorts of things to try and convince Pharaoh to let the people go. Hundreds, maybe thousands of frogs, and flies in the house and on the food, and biting insects. But even after God sent all these awful things to make them let him go, each time he said that he would not let them leave. But then finally, he'd had enough, and he told them to go. In the middle of the night, Pharaoh set God's people free. But after the Israelites had left, well, Pharaoh's heart turned. What had he done? Now who would work the land? Who would make his bricks for his mansions? Who would build his city? He wanted the people back, and his anger deeply burned. All Pharaoh's chariots chased after to attack and to bring them back. But just as they neared, God held the army back. Trapped between the sea and the Egyptians, the Israelites feared for their lives, but God loved them greatly, and he gave them an exit, a safe exit through the sea. God gave Moses the command to lift up his staff and stretch out his arms through the sea, and then God parted the sea. The waters split in two, and the Israelites made their exit. I want to show you a game you can play at home. You can play this in your driveway. You can play this in your living room. You can get mom and dad to help you, or your brothers and sisters. It's our parting of the Red Sea, the way Moses did. Now, I'm playing this by myself here in the church, so I'm hoping that you'll be able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to back way up, and you're going to see how this game goes. I think you can still see me. Okay, so you're going to have a piece of paper, and you're going to place the paper down on the floor. And then you've got to have somebody behind you to help you out. So I'm going to have to pretend that there's somebody behind me. I'm going to step on this first piece of paper, and then I'm going to grab a piece of paper from the person behind me, and I'm going to place the next piece of paper down. I can only step where the paper is. So I'm going to move to the next step. The person who was behind me is going to work on stepping to the first step, and they're going to get the piece of paper from the person behind them. And we're going to keep doing this until we all make it safely across. And if you don't have more than one friend to play this with, the person in the front can be placing the papers, but remember, you can only step where the paper is until you have made it all the way across the sea. There's nothing like a messy craft. Today we're going to be making parting of the Red Sea crafts ourselves. And what you're going to need is you're going to need a piece of blue paper or another color if you don't have blue at home. And what you're going to do is I want you to fold in about 4 or 5 inches on both sides of the paper towards the middle. And then you're going to open it back up again. And now you're going to see you have a flat part in the middle, just like the Israelites where they had a flat part to walk through the sea. You're then going to get a piece of brown paper, which would be the bottom of the sea, and you're going to glue it into the middle so that you have nice flat part for walking on. The next thing you're going to need is either tissue paper, or you could have clear plastic if you've got it in blue, or I found some crepe paper in the cupboard here at the church, and you're going to glue this down on the sides. I'm going to show you a finished one in a minute. This is going to be, I'm going to take this away for a minute. You're going to glue this down on the edges where the water part is, and you can make it kind of ripply so it's like the waves are there, and you want to glue that all down. And then once you've got those two parts done, well, it's time to decorate. So you could draw on some fish, or you could glue on some fish if you have some stickers. In my basket, I've got some stickers that I found. I've got a couple of different kinds of fish here. There's a whale. And a few others that you're welcome to glue on. Glue these on, stick them on, use some markers. I've got lots of markers. And create your own Moses parting the Red Sea. You could also make your own Moses so that he's standing there. And what I did was I went on my computer and I found a pattern for a Moses. So I'm going to show you my finished one. I did lots of colorings and things that I put on mine. And I've used blue tissue paper. And I have a Moses here, and he stands up because I kept a little bit of the extra paper on the back. And he is parting my Red Sea. That's your craft for today. Get messy. And as we always do in church, we always take a moment to thank God for being in our lives and for showing us how to be loving like Jesus with our friends and family. And so I'm going to invite you to fold your hands, just like me, and to close your eyes because it makes it easier to concentrate on what we're saying and to say the same words that I am going to say as we pray together. Dear God, thank you for showing me the way to stretch out my arms and to share love and friendship with those who need it most. Whether it's through my smile or a call I make, show me always the way to be like Jesus. In your name I pray. Amen. This ends our time of getting messy. We go out with one more song, and I invite you to sing with me, Like a Rock. Let's sing.